Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and read Chapter 18 of Masterminds. Chapter 18 is Eli Frieden, so this chapter is from Eli's perspective. Our home is filled with pictures of my poor dead mother. Dad's always lecturing me on what Mom would have wanted, and I have to live up to her high expectations. Not only is she ever present, but she's ever disappointed. Add that to my guilt that I can't conjure up a single memory of her, not a voice, not a touch, nothing. Now I know why. She never existed. I spent 20 minutes with a magnifying glass in their wedding picture. Apparently, I'm not the only one in the house who knows how to use Photoshop. I shouldn't be so amazed. Anyone twisted enough to create Project Osiris could certainly come up with a loving wife and mother. It should be easy compared to cloning 11 children from the DNA of maximum security prisoners and inventing a whole town and way of life to raise them in. My father isn't a mayor and a principal. He's a scientist, a mad scientist. And he isn't even my father. What he really is, I now realize, is the world's greatest liar. His name, his wife, his town, his plastics factory, his newspaper, our so-called education, where 1 fact in 10 may be true. The longer I think about it, the more lies I see swirling around me like a fog. Example. Since we have no real parents, all our last names have to be made up, right? I spent a couple hours on Google Translate last night and I learned that our surnames mean things like friendship, brother, peace, and love in different languages. Even Pax is just the Latin word for peace. Like our street signs and our water polo teams and the name of the town itself, it's all part of the Osiris experiment. Can exact copies of criminal masterminds turn out to be decent citizens if you call their street Harmony instead of Oak? It's an interesting question if you're not the poor dummy who's been created purely to be a lab subject. That's not a fun thing to carry around either, the knowledge that you're the exact replica of a horrible criminal. Malik was just joking about Adolf Hitler. But we could easily be cloned from someone who's robbed other people or even killed them. Even though I haven't done anything wrong, every chromosome in the DNA of that guy who did such terrible things, every brain cell that made the choice to act that way, I've got that too. It's scary and infuriating, and the anger is the scariest part. What is anger that turned was it anger that turned my DNA twin into a criminal mastermind? Does that mean I'm already on my way? And how do I stop it? Can it be stopped? Everything I do, is it me deciding or is it him? Malik has also been thinking about where his genes come from, but he doesn't seem to be bothered by it. He refers to his DNA donor as my guy, as in, I can't wait to blow this popsicle stand off so I can go find my guy. He's not your uncle, you know, Hector reminds him. He's more like an older evil twin. Oh, but he's in New York City, Malik daydreams. Convenient. I was planning to head that way anyway. The reason they got his DNA is because he was in jail, I point out. Chances are he's still there. Master criminals get long sentences. The jail hasn't been built that can hold my guy. He must be a real player. Please don't let me get that bonehead who's got arrested for, jaywalking. Like this is some contest to see who's cloned from the coolest felon. I don't want to meet mine. It's one of the rare times Hector doesn't agree with Malik. Oh, come on. Malik shoots back. Your guy is a cinch to find. Just scour the prison system for somebody 4'6" doing time for felony pain in the butt. Hector doesn't take the bait. I don't care about that stuff, he says seriously. I just want to get out of here and make a fresh start. So what are we waiting for? Malik turns back to me. When do you want to make our move? Tori still hasn't decided if she's coming with us, I tell him. Forget her, man, Malik exclaims. I've got nothing against Tori, but we can't just chill forever while she makes up her mind. I dig in my heels. We need her. Remember the factory? We never could have pulled it off without her. We've got to get this right, Malik. If we're caught, there won't be any second chances, even if our parents have to chain us into our rooms. Well, tell her to hurry up, Malik says irritably. If we wait too long, she'll break down and blab everything to Mommy and Daddy. To me, that's even more reason to not push her. Too much pressure might make her snap in the wrong direction and come clean to her parents. Hey, I totally get the reluctance to turn her life upside down. It goes far beyond working up the courage to break away from her family. Escaping this place is going to be hard. The next town is 80 miles away and we have no transportation other than bikes. There are 4 of us against close to 200 Osiris types and purple people eaters, and they have cars and a helicopter. And even if we do get away, what then? We're underage, we don't know anybody outside Serenity, and we have no idea how things work in the world. Our education may or may not bear any resemblance to reality, and even the books we've read about in the movies we've seen might have been edited by Osiris scientists. Our idea is to go to the Taoist police and tell them who we are and what's been done to us. Maybe they'll shut down Project Osiris and rescue the other 7 who are like us. But that's if they believe us in the first place. It's a pretty crazy story coming from a bunch of kids. What evidence do we have? A few dozen pictures of the conference room. They're barely readable on my iPad. A whole lot of Arth Gin, but very little that's concrete. The real stuff on the whiteboards can easily be taken down and hidden. It'll end up our word against our parents. For all we can predict, we'll be in trouble for the crimes our DNA twins committed, or simply for being clones in the first place. What if that's illegal? If we do manage to get away, we'll have to take things as they come and make decisions on the fly. The prospect of it freaks me out. Just not enough to stay here and live my life the Osiris way. So for the moment, we're biding our time, making mental plans and trying to act as if nothing is up. I smile through the lump in my throat and remind myself that the guy across the breakfast table is not my father, but a scientist named Felix Hammerstrom. I am quiet and obedient, the perfect son. I slave over a Serenity Day project that with all my heart I hope not to be here to present. I write endless details of President Roosevelt's 1937 visit, an event that never happened, regardless of what it says on our fake internet. I fill the Excel spreadsheet with manufacturing statistics about our fake plastics factory. I quote fake articles from the packs about how our town is tops in the state, country, hemisphere, world, the solar system, the Milky Way. In school, I keep my grades up and my mouth shut. If Mrs. Laska finds out what I've been thinking about in meditation, she'll definitely dock my contentment score. In gym, I'm a beast in the pool. The emotions I'm suppressing in every other part of my life are coming through in water polo. Luckily, I've got an excuse. I tell Mrs. Delaney I'm striving to make myself a counterbalance to Malik's overpowering physical play. It's fine to be aggressive, she tells me, but you're swimming like you're trying to hurt the water. You move better with the relaxed, measured stroke you always use. I'll try harder next time. The words come out so automatically that she can tell that it's lip service. She's quiet a moment, chewing this over. Then, remember what I said when I came to your house that time, that if you ever need someone to talk to, you can count on me? I do remember, and the truth is I like talking to Miss Delaney. I always sensed she was different from the other adults in town, and now I approve. She must have been just a kid in the early days of Project Osiris. Does she know the whole truth about what's going on here? It's impossible to tell, but I hope not. I want to believe that she's the kind of person who would never go along with this Serenity scam. I realize something unexpected. When I'm gone from this nightmare town, I might feel sad about leaving my dad, mostly out of habit and brainwashing, but she's the only one I'll actually miss. You're awesome, Mrs. Delaney. I'll never forget you. She looks puzzled. Forget me? I'm not going anywhere. I just got here. Her playful grin disappears as her eyes narrow. Are you going somewhere? My heart leaps up into my throat, and I very nearly choke on it. How could I have said something so stupid? Of course not, I managed to gasp. I never go anywhere. She studies me for what seems like a long time. At last she says, sorry, I must have misunderstood. Now go and change. Maybe try a swim at home tonight. Take it nice and easy. Get your regular stroke back. As soon as the locker room door shuts behind me, I slide down the wall to the floor and sit there hyperventilating. After worrying so much about Tori, I almost gave it all away in a nothing conversation about water polo. It begins to sink in that the longer we delay, the greater the likelihood that one of us will slip up and spill the beans, and then we can kiss any chance at freedom goodbye. Alright guys, that was the end of chapter 18. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And make sure you reply to the post and you answer the question, and make sure you can remember that you can reply to each other too, okay, so have a little conversation about the chapter. Bye guys.